Good afternoon, everyone. Finance Talk Podcast, episode 13. As I promised to you a couple days ago, that I'm going to be talking about how to give financial education to your children and how to help them understand the value of the money. So this podcast I'm going to be doing by myself, and I will have a little help from my son, who's 8 years old. So at the end of the podcast, I'll ask him a couple questions to show you what 8-year-olds think about money. I have not prepared him for the questions, so it's going to be a random question that I will ask him, and he will just answer at the best of his knowledge. So my inspiration for this particular podcast came from looking at my children and observing them and how they're actually changing within these 2.5 years that we were in United States. Because before, when we were in Mongolia, kids do not engage with money that much. They don't get to earn or have a saying in how to spend their money, because it's cultural differences that we have in Asian countries is that kids are not supposed to talk about money. Kids are not supposed to handle money until they're actually old enough. But my question is, how will they handle money if they don't learn it at the young age, if they don't know the value of the money? So as parents, we are highly responsible to teach them how to handle money and actually give them an education of what money is. So the podcast will consist of 4 separate parts. One is going to be how to teach them the value of money. The second one is importance of earning money. Because whether we want it or not, they're going to graduate high school at the age of 18 and go off to college. At the college years, they have to study. At the same time, they're going to be working hard to earn their living, pay for their college. And later on in life, they're going to be working to earn the money to sustain their living. So they need to understand this from the young age. And third part of the podcast is always know to save. We have to teach them the value of savings. And then the fourth part is importance of giving. It's not always about you, and the money that you earn is not always dedicated for you. You have to help others who are in need. So let's talk about the first part. How can we teach our kids the value of money? I have 2 techniques that I use. First one is take them grocery shopping. So whenever you're going to the grocery store or to a clothing store or a shopping mall, take them with you, not just to accompany you, but to know how much things cost. One thing I have tried with my children is that I give them the budget. I gave them $65, for example, and said, okay, look at the fridge and see what we have and see what we do not have. And then you have a budget of $65. I will go with you to the grocery store to see what you're buying, to kind of give you an advice, but you're going to be making the decisions. Within that $65, you have to buy certain grocery items that we will be using for at least 3-4 days. Cooking, snacks, drinks, whatever they like. And it actually surprised me because whenever we go grocery shopping and I make the decision, they would always want to buy chips, soda, or something that is not healthy or that doesn't actually serve the purpose of meal. But then when I gave them $65 and told them to stick to the budget and pick the food, they actually chose cabbage, milk, and eggs because they already know what food items can have a higher protein and healthier, and which one would last longer and which one they actually need instead of potato chips and soda drinks. Since then, once in a while, not all the time, because we are quite busy. The kids have their activities and I don't get to go to the grocery shopping with them that much. But whenever we get a chance, I give them the budget and I take them to grocery shopping and they get to pick their own grocery items. And along the process, they are learning that how many different types of strawberries there are and how expensive the organic items are or how much the bread costs. And at the end of the day, when we are gathered around the dining table, they appreciate the food more and they know how much money went into it and they know how much the items costed to make the meal. And they tend to finish all their meals because now they know the value of the money. And my another technique within the frameworks of the value of the money, I teach my children, at least I try to teach my children, the opportunity cost of the money. So let's say they want to buy a computer game. I lay out the opportunity cost, saying, okay, this particular PlayStation game would cost you $34, $35. But on the other hand, if you keep this money, you can buy your favorite Lego with this money. So now they have choices in front of them, whether to buy a PlayStation game or the Lego. This way, they would know that money is not only for one thing. If they spend it on one particular item, they're losing the opportunity cost to buy another item with that money. So within the frameworks of value of the money, this is the two techniques I use. One is taking them grocery shopping, and then second one is telling them or showing them the opportunity cost, what else they could buy with the particular money that they want to spend on certain items. So the second teaching is about the importance of hard work and how money is earned. Because children and some adults tend to think that money falls from the tree. But unfortunately, it doesn't. We have to work really hard to earn that money. So we need to teach our children that hard work will pay off in terms of financial gains. So in order to teach them the importance of hard work, I use two techniques. One is I create a small chores for them so they can help out around the house, or they do certain chores that they're not expected of and earn money towards it. For example, you can have them ironing the clothes, maybe 50 cents per item, or you can have them doing the dishes, extra, $1 for doing the dishes maybe. You can come up with any chores based on what your lifestyle is. Whether you have a dog, then you can have him play around with the dog more often or walk the dog more regularly for them to earn money. So it could be anything. And I know some parents would argue with me saying that, oh, kids are supposed to do those things. But at the young age, they don't understand that they are supposed to do that. So through the value of earning in appreciation towards hard work and payment, they can be actually doing those extra chores for a certain price. So based on the age of this kid, for example, you cannot expect a 12-year-old to wash dishes and earn money. So if the child is 12 years old, he can be doing more elaborate chores, a little bit more difficult chores. But if the child is 4 years old, maybe he or she can make the bed in the morning and earn 50 cents, because that way they learn to make the bed as well as they learn to earn money for the things that they do. And second method I use is that I encourage and support them to have an entrepreneurial skills. So if your child comes up and say, hey, I want to bring this to school and sell it, or I did some drawings, I want to sell it to people, I say, go ahead. Why not? If you can, that will give you an understanding of the market, what people want, what people don't want, and how much you actually think your drawing costs and how much would actually other people think your drawing costs. So there would be a gap, and they would understand that not everything they do would be valued or appreciated at the greatest cost in the market. So they would understand that. And they also learn the negotiation skills throughout their process of trying to make something, trying to sell it. And it is actually very helpful for children. And we all know that there's some kids that have a very enthusiastic entrepreneurial skills from a young age, and it is something we need to cherish and encourage them. But of course, to a certain extent, you cannot have the kid skip school or not pay attention to classes and just bring items and start selling it or soliciting the classes. So within the accepted frameworks and regulations of the public entity, we can have the kid have those entrepreneurial skills. Like in the United States, for example, they have a lemonade stand. Kid goes out into their yard or to the street and make the lemonade and sell it for $1 or 50 cents. And people who are running or jogging, they can buy the drink and for 50 cents. Part of it is also they're thirsty. Another part is they want to support the entrepreneurial skill of that young child. So those are the two methods that I use to teach them importance of earning money through hard work. And then the third teaching is that always know to save. So even adults, we struggle to save money. No matter how much money we're making, we struggle to save some money. So we can teach our kids from the young age that not everything you look at the store windows or not every new game that comes out has to end up in your bedroom. So we have to teach them that saving money is actually better and it pays off later in the year when you actually need the money. Two ways that I teach them to save money is, one is I match their savings. Just like when we put our money into a bank, even it's 3%, 10%, whatever the interest rate is, I do the same for my children. So if they want to save certain money into their savings account, let's say they want to put $10 from the money that they earn doing the chores, I will put $10 extra. So they, instead of spending $10 today on a computer game or on potato chips, they will think about the opportunity cost of having $20 later on. So matching the savings is a great way to encourage kids to save their earnings. And then the second method, it even applies to adults as well. I show them the power of compounding. So maybe he can put $5 today. I'll match it to $10. And on top of that, the interest rate is going to get added on it. Even though it's a small amount of money, you can do now kids are very good at math, so you can even show them an Excel calculation. This is how much money you're putting every month. This is how much I'm matching, and maybe daily interest rate, you can calculate it out, and it's, even though it's a small amount, they will see that how money is growing faster and faster. And if they start saving at the age of 5, maybe $5 a month, the compounded interest and the parents matched money will sum up to a pretty big chunk when they graduate high school. So they like to visualize and see and actually see the numeric values of it. So first, they have to know the value of the money. Second, they have to know how to earn it. Third, they have to save it. Fourth, and the most important thing that I tell my kids is the importance of giving. Money is nothing if you don't share it with other people who are in need. And if you can earn a lot of money, if you can have a power to help others in need, you can do it at any age. So one method that I use with them is let them give money from their savings to people in need. So they can donate it to school. For example, at my kids' school, there's sometimes coin draw. They have to bring in their saved little coins and then put it into the classroom fund. So I let them take Ziploc full of coins and just tell them, give it to your class fund, and the teachers are going to use it later on when they need certain items, or it is going to a good cause. That way, they will not be like a Grinch. They would be not greedy. They would know from young age that no matter how much they make, they still have the power to change other people's lives, or still have the power to make someone happier or bring out the smile in a kid or someone in need. Of course, not every kid will be happy to give out their hard-earned money to someone that they don't know. Even adults will have difficulty donating their money. So one way I try to bring them on board with me to emphasize the importance of giving is that I show them documentaries and we watch movies that are related to the people from different backgrounds, different lifestyles, and I try to teach them that not everybody is given the greatest opportunity in life, and some people actually need to have others help in order to get to where they're going. So for example, in US, there are food banks. People gather together and they donate their money to buy certain food and give it to homeless people. So at 4 o'clock in downtown Kansas City, for example, there is a food bank. At 4 p.m. every evening, a certain group of people will donate the food, and then they would actually put the food on the plate for the people on the streets, and they will walk in with their bags full of their belongings, sometimes cold and sometimes old and young. And the kids get to see them, and kids get to actually understand that life is not always fair. And if you have the power, helping others and giving to others what you have is a greatest joy in life. So to sum up what I have just told you all is that there are 4 things that we can teach our children. 1, the value of money. 2, the appreciation towards hard work. 3, savings. 4, giving. And out of the methods that I stated out, that I use, you can come up with many different methods and techniques to teach your child, because you know your child the best and you can relate to them and you understand their psychological well-being and how they approach things. So you can actually tailor down certain activities or certain techniques that will teach them in a way that they would understand. So we are nearing our end of the podcast, but as I promised, I have a special little guest here. He is 8 years old and he's my son, Jagar. And I just have a couple questions from Jagar that will help you to kind of understand what 8-year-olds think about money. So say hi.
Hi!
So Jagar, what do you think money is?
I think money is a currency and a type of thing we use to buy stuff.
Do you think money is important?
Not if we don't have to buy stuff.
And do you know how adults earn money?
Yes, they earn money by working hard every day. And they get money for their little children so they can buy more stuff so their children can be healthy and happy.
So what do you think when you're spending money?
I never spend money.
So you always save money?
Yeah, but I always spend money if my mom and dad always tell me if I have to. But most of the time, no. But sometimes, yeah.
So why do you like saving money?
'Cause then later I can buy something that's more expensive, which means it's higher quality.
Last but not least, what would you like to recommend to your fellow 8-year-old kids who are listening to this podcast, or maybe to the parents of 8-year-old kids who are listening to the podcast?
I would recommend $1 million.
That was an interesting recommendation. Thank you, Jagar, for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
So that was the glimpse of my son's thoughts about money and the recommendation. So I really hope this podcast gave you an idea and laid out certain techniques that you can use on your children and teach them the importance of money and prepare a financially educated and financially responsible individuals. Thank you for listening and see you next time.